The year was 2008. Heath Ledger died in his prime as a result of drug abuse, while seasoned entertainment veterans Paul Newman and Charlton Heston succumbed to lung cancer and pneumonia respectively. Dungeons & Dragons creator Gary Gygax passed following an aneurysm. Popular comic book artist Michael Turner and special effects master Stan Winston both fell victim to cancer. And comedy superstar George Carlin died due to heart failure. These titans of their respective industries will never be forgotten, which is the one thing they all share in common with one of the most popular comedy films of the year. But Ryan never saw it. Until now. Or did he? This is Movies I Missed, 2008, Episode 3, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I'm Jesse Munoz.
I'm Ryan Miller.
This is Movies I Missed, 2008. Episode number 3. Today we are talking about the film Forgetting Sarah Marshall, released April 11th, 2008, with a running time of 1 hour and 51 minutes. I want to give a warning that we will be discussing all aspects of this movie. That includes spoilers. Forgetting Sarah Marshall is a 2008 romantic comedy directed by Nicholas Stoller, starring Jason Segel, Kristen Bell, Mila Kunis, and Russell Brand. After a painful breakup with his TV star girlfriend Sarah, Peter heads to Hawaii to get away. His plans for a relaxing vacation fall apart when he discovers Sarah is staying at the same resort with her new rock star boyfriend. Stuck in paradise and forced into awkward encounters, Peter tries to move on with the help of the hotel receptionist, leading to a new romance and a series of unexpected complications.
Last night, like some sort of idiot, I had sex with this woman who I barely even know. I used a condom, but I'm really scared that I have an STD, Doc.
Peter, I'm a pediatrician. Have you noticed you're sitting on a fire truck?
Right.
Little kids running.
Yeah, this is new. I like it.
I'm kind of backed up.
Could you take a look at my penis?
Go ahead. Let me see it.
Sorry.
It's all right. Take it out. Good.
You barely even looked at it.
It's a good-looking dick, Peter. Beautiful dick.
Do you think maybe while I'm here I could get some blood work?
Peter! Your girlfriend dumped you, right? Are you hurting? Are you hurt? Stop it. Stop crying. Use your dick. Keep fucking. Fuck everything that moves. Just wear a condom. Listen, I'm backed up. I got a lot of kids. I gotta go. Okay? You want something? You want a balloon? You want a lolly?
Couple of plugs. We've got moviesimiss.com. That's our website. You can get links to where you can subscribe to our show, including our Instagram and our YouTube page, both at Movies I Missed Podcast, and we're available wherever you get podcasts. So go ahead and subscribe. You don't miss an episode. Ryan, this is your choice for a movie. Movies I Missed.
Yep.
This is
Premise of the show, movies we have not seen before. Got it?
movies we have not seen before. So tell me about your choice for this movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, well,
a movie which you had not seen, correct?
Right. Well, I posed you this question right before we started recording, and I feel like it's apt. If a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? If you've seen a movie, but you have absolutely no memory of ever seeing it, did you really see it?
So when you're watching the movie, all right, so
I'll just give you the rundown, okay?
Yeah.
So, as far as I was concerned, I had never seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall, right? And I about 2-3 years ago, I went through like a little phase where I was like rewatching and or watching for the first time a bunch of comedies from like that mid 2000s through like 2015 time frame. I rewatched like Pineapple Express and Dodgeball, and I watched some things for the first time that I'd never seen, like Starsky and Hutch, and I rewatched like Step Brothers, and like Forgetting Sarah Marshall was on my list because, like I said, I would have told you with 100% certainty I hadn't seen it. And then like I started listening to this podcast called I think it was Films to Be Buried With, or I listened to a podcast with Jason Segel on it, and I remember hearing him. They're talking about Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and he's describing like how the naked breakup is based on a real thing that happened to him, and he told the whole story. And I was like, wow, that sounds funny. I'd like to see that in the movie. And then they're talking about the vampire musical, and I'm like, that sounds interesting. Certainly never seen that before. And so like for the last 2 years, I've been like, I got to get around to watching Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And then, you picked the year 2008, and I'm like, oh, perfect. Now I have an excuse to watch it. And so this weekend leading up to recording this, I sit down. I didn't own it, so I rented it, I think, on Amazon maybe.
Sure.
Used some rewards points, got it for free, settled in, watched the whole movie. And the only things that struck me as like, I have any context for this is the naked breakup, because I'd heard about it on a podcast, and the vampire musical. But like at no point while watching it did I have visual memory of it. And like, even I'm watching it right at the beginning, I'm like, oh, I always knew it was about him and Kristen Bell breaking up, but I didn't know she played like a TV star. And then it's like, oh, look, Jonah Hill's in this. And like, oh man, Paul Rudd's in this. Oh, I've always heard that line. The weather outside is weather. I didn't know that's what that was from. Like, I watched the whole movie convinced this was the first time I'd seen it. And then the movie ended, the credits are rolling, and I pull up my phone and I'm like, I'm just going to look on Letterboxd and see like what the general consensus is. Is this one that people like, it's all 5 stars or like what? And I go and it lists like everybody who's seen it that I am friends with, and there I am with a 3-star rating from the year 2008. Yeah. And I was like, wow, what? I mean, that was before I think I had Letterboxd. I don't remember exactly when Letterboxd came around, but so I didn't have a review, but I had it logged that I'd seen it in 2008 and gave it 3 stars. But I swear to God, before Saturday evening, if you'd put a gun to my head and said, yes or no, you've seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I'd be dead right now.
Yeah.
I swear. After I finished the movie, after I finished watching it, if you put a gun to my head and said, was this the first time you've ever seen this? I'd be dead right now. Until 3 minutes later when I looked at my phone. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Like, as far as I know, someone logged into my Letterboxd account and put that old log in there as a prank. Like, I have no memory of seeing it before.
It's just so funny because, I put the show notes together.
I was hoping you wouldn't see it because I was I want to spring this on him on the show. And then you texted me about it like yesterday.
Yeah. So I watched the movie and I'm putting the show notes together, and Letterboxd is something that we use and I've added for the season as well. And I look and I see, because it shows your friends' reviews, and I see your name with a 3-star review. I'm like, what the frick is this? I just like, and so I texted you and I'm like, you've seen this movie before, right? And then, so
I think my response was like, I found that out Saturday after I watched it.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
I swear to God, like, no moment of recognition. I was, as far as I'm concerned, it was a first-time watch. So in a manner of speaking, it still applies to the premise of the show. Like, if you're 100% convinced you missed it, then you missed it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I blocked out that part of my memory. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I've seen this movie a million times. I've had it. I've enjoyed it. So we'll see how your rating has changed from 2008 to now with that 3-star review. Let's go over some of the cast and crew. 2008 is so interesting because we're coming off of like Superbad and Knocked Up, I think, and there was a bunch of movies that were released, like the Judd Apatow Experience, right, was going on. And so all these people that I'm going to list that we're going to go over, it's like we know them as like stars now, but in 2008 they were pretty much or nobodies or relatively new. Nicholas Stoller is a guy that I still am not really familiar with. He feels like a Judd Apatow guy. He's the director of the movie. Any familiarity with him? I mean, I've seen
you have listed here Get Him to the Greek, and I've seen Neighbors, and I apparently have seen this. So, but I couldn't have told you who directed any of those or that it was the same person.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that feels like he's an Apatow guy. He kind of gets comedy and it knows his niche and kind of exploits it.
What is Bros? You have that listed for him.
Bro, Billy on the Street, Billy Eichner?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a movie come out a year or 2 years ago.
Oh, right. It's like a gay romantic comedy or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he directed that. I wanted to see it, but I haven't seen it yet. I like Billy Eichner.
Aside from that, has he done anything of note since Neighbors that you maybe just didn't write down? Or
no,
it's kind of like he was a flash in the pan and now he hasn't done much recently?
Yeah, he did The Neighbors and then Neighbors 2. He did, it wasn't a lot. It's mostly these comedies.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else. Like Fun with Dick and Jane, I think he wrote the screenplay for. He did the Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man, he directed.
Okay. He
directed the Muppets movie that Jason Segel and him did together.
Oh, for some reason I thought Jason Segel directed that.
No, he wrote it. We'll talk about that because this movie ended up, leading to that.
Yeah.
But mostly just like these the Neighbors movies, Neighbors 2, Bros, and then he has a movie this year called You're Cordially Invited, which was a Will Ferrell, Reese Witherspoon Amazon movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Forgetting Sarah Marshall was his first movie though. But yeah, just someone that's kind of knows what they're doing and can direct comedies. Jason Segel is the star of the movie. He's both the writer and the star as Peter Bretter. How familiar are you with him? Have you watched this? I know this is speaking to the wrong person.
No, I have not watched.
Like Shrinking is a big show, or How I Met Your Mother.
No,
Freaks and
I
Geeks.
haven't seen any of that. And honestly, it was Freaks and Geeks that like all those guys came out of?
Yeah.
I never watched that either.
Yeah, same.
So, until now or until 2008, I don't really know what else I would have seen him in.
Yeah.
Like is he like got to be like a small role in Knocked Up or something or?
Yeah, he's one of Seth Rogen's like buddies.
Yeah. I probably haven't seen that since the year it came out either, but stuff like that, cameo roles maybe, but
yeah.
Know him, can pick him out of a lineup.
Sure. Never watched How I Met Your Mother, but he was one of the main stars in that.
Yeah.
Probably how he made most of his money. Kristen Bell, obviously familiar with her. I say obviously, but how familiar are you with Kristen
I know
Bell?
She's married to Dax Shepard because every time I see them in a commercial together, I'm like, how did this happen?
I know. Yeah.
Whatever her show was that she became famous from, I never watched that.
Veronica Mars was her big one. Yeah, same.
I've seen her here and there and stuff.
Did you watch The Good Place?
I watched the first season.
Okay. I really liked her in that.
Yeah, I thought that show was okay.
Mila Kunis, what about that? Were you watching that 70s show? I was big into that 70s show.
I wasn't big into it, but it's like I would catch it. I never watched a ton of it, but I've seen however many handful of episodes. But I mean, she's also in classics like Jupiter Ascending and
classics.
And what's the one with Denzel? The Book of Eli.
Book of Eli. Yeah, I forgot she's in that. Yeah. Yeah, just a famous person, like a generally famous like most of these people, I would say are. What about Russell Brand? You like? Do you like my credits for him?
I saw that. Yeah, give us credits for anybody who doesn't know.
So I have COVID denier and alleged rapist. So
I know of him in as much as he was in like 3 big movies right around this time. Like I said, I've seen Get Him to the Greek. I remember almost nothing about it, but I at least remember that I saw it.
Do you know that Get Him to the Greek is a sequel to this movie? He's playing Aldous Snow in Get Him to the Greek.
No, isn't Jonah Hill in that as well?
He is.
Is he playing the same character?
No, he's playing a different character.
Okay, so that's weird.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I remember that's like the premise is that, nerdy Jonah Hill has to get like obnoxious rock star to a place on time and everything goes crazy. But that's really all I remember.
Also has P. Diddy in it.
Oh, that movie. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know anything about Russell Brand. I know that people hate him, now, and I don't really know why, aside from your credits you gave him there.
Yeah. I mean, that's but why he's
sure.
Like,
I don't know who he allegedly raped or anything, though. Like, it's all just stuff I've kind of heard third, fourth, fifth hand.
Sure. But the COVID denier is a big one, too. Like, he was.
Yeah, I mean, that's not great.
Yeah. Bill Hader in a supporting role.
Man, I couldn't believe he was in this. Like,
yeah.
I get real fucked up on the timeline. Like, as much as I love SNL despite the fact that I don't ever watch it, and I just love all the behind the scenes and listening to interviews and stuff about it. Like, I don't even really have a clear picture in my head of like the years that like him and Andy Samberg and those guys were on the show. So like this being a movie from 2008, I was like, damn, people knew who Bill Hader was back then?
Not really. Like, this is, he was like, in this, he was in Knocked Up in a really small role. He was on SNL at the time and sort of becoming famous. But this is the time, you know, him in the Lonely Island. And I watched the extended edition, which has a scene with Kristen Wiig in it. I don't know if you.
When I saw that there were 2 options on Amazon, I decided to go for the regular one just because I was like, it's the regular one.
Sure.
I wasn't sure which one you were going to be watching or so.
It's just the one that I have. So I just popped it on. But I found out that scene is like an extra scene where she's like a yoga instructor. Okay. It's not anything, really. But there's a lot of people. Jack McBrayer from 30 Rock has a little role in it. Jonah Hill has a little role, like a really little role for being Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd has a little role. William Baldwin plays himself. Yeah, so Paul Rudd is interesting because him and Jason Segel would do a couple movies together after this. They did I Love You Man, which is a movie that I really like, where they
I've never seen that.
That's a really fun one. There's a couple more, but I know they've kind of paired up a bunch. And again, this is before Paul Rudd became Ant-Man and a huge Marvel star too. The only other person I've listed is Liz Kukowski, and the only reason I put her, you'll like this credit, is she's Mrs. Akiva Schaffer from which is the one from The Lonely Island. She was a writer on SNL.
I was going to say, can't you now say, or was it, wait, no, was it, whose wife was it directed Night Bitch? That was Yorma's wife, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw you had her listed here, and I was like, oh, I had no idea who that was.
Yeah, I just recognized her. I am one of those SNL geeks that watches all this stuff and knows who these people are, but just a small role as Bill Hader's wife. All right, so the movie is about a breakup, and it's all from the point of view of Jason Segel's character. He's married to this famous television star played by Kristen Bell. She breaks up with him in the beginning of the movie. He's miserable, decides to go to Hawaii, where she happens to be, and like hijinks ensue, right? Like that's the basic premise of the movie. What were your initial thoughts on this first viewing of yours?
You know, the thing that I kept thinking the whole time I'm watching it is it reminded me a lot of another movie. And there's probably a lot of movies like this.
Let me guess. Can I guess?
Yeah,
is it 500 Days of Summer?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's an even more on the nose movie. It's fuck, the name just jumped out of my head. Fuck, it's the Ben Stiller movie where
The Heartbreak Kid?
Yeah, The Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah.
Because it's about like, you know, tropical location, and there's like the girl that you either are with or were with, and then there's the girl who like lives and or, you know, just happens to be there, who he wants to be with. And even more than all that, just the vibe of while you're in a tropical, like foreign location, everybody who like works at or around the hotel is a super cool person who you end up becoming friends with in like 2 minutes flat, and then they're like your support system for the entire movie. Like both movies had that same exact vibe, and the whole time I was just thinking of The Heartbreak Kid, which I've seen probably 4 or 5 times. But yeah, on the whole, I thought this was okay.
I guess for it's so hard to review comedies. The question is like basic. Did you laugh through the movie? Did you find it funny?
Man, I laughed a couple times. I'll be honest, I don't really remember what the hell I laughed at. It's not like I was cracking up throughout the whole thing. Yeah. But there were definitely like 2 or 3 little moments that got a laugh out of me. I mean, Mila Kunis, between just her, because I think she seems like a legitimately nice person, and the character that she plays, she's just like super likable. Jason Segel, his character's a little annoying in that like self-loathing, you know, woe is me, I'm a privileged white man, but I just feel sorry for myself.
The typical Judd Apatow, like male leading male. I feel like all of those movies, it's the same character or a variation of those same characters. Knocked Up, Superbad, this, where they're not the normal leads that you'd used to have. They're all kind of like schlubby or a little bit more normal. They don't have their shit together, you know?
Yeah. And I know that even the person with like the best like position in life can, you know, get fucked up by things that happen to them or whatever. But just, you know, he's works in showbiz. He's got kind of a cool job, and he was dating like a, you know, attractive, famous person. And it's like all it took was breaking up, and now he's got like nothing to live for, and he goes to this like beautiful place and he's still fucking miserable the whole time. And like, I understand it's the setup for the story and whatnot. I did find him a little bit grating at times.
I do think that comes with age, because I feel like as a 20-year-old when I saw this movie, I related more a little bit more to like the idea of like wallowing in your misery. And now as like a 40-year-old, I'm like, get over it, dude. Like,
yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see this in my 20s, so I can't, I can't say.
As a first time view, you can only from the 40-year-old perspective.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of that as I watched it, though. It was like, all right, dude, like pick it up a little bit. But I can remember being the same sort of like 20-year-old whiny little bitch. It's like, get over, like, you don't see the forest through the trees. You know what I mean? Like, he has so many good things going on, and yeah, it sucks, but he gets right back on the horse. I thought one of the funniest things was the first night he goes out with Bill Hader, and he hooks up with June Diane Raphael, and he then goes to his doctor afterwards, and it's a pediatrician. He's worried about contracting an STD, even though he used a condom. That whole scene I thought was really funny.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But yeah, I think I found that I mostly, like, Paul Rudd was pretty fun as a one-note character. Jonah Hill was pretty fun as a one-note character. Jack McBrayer was pretty funny as a one-note character. All the guys whose names I don't know, but they're like, they play the local Hawaiian dudes.
Yeah.
Like the huge fat
the
guy.
Big baby.
Like all those people were fun. And it's like such low stakes, easy win. Just the fact that like this guy's going through a tough time and everybody else is just super cool and nice. And it feels like they're all making time for him. When in reality, if they really worked at the hotel, he would just be one of another, like, you know, thousands of faceless people that are just an annoyance to them because it's like part of their job. But they all like hang out with him outside of work and are there to comfort him and like help him out with stuff. And it's like, it's almost like some weird kind of vicarious fantasy wish fulfillment or something of just like going to a beautiful place and everyone's nice to me. Yeah. So like the supporting cast I thought was kind of fun, even if occasionally I found Jason Segel's character a bit grating.
I thought Russell Brand, as awful as he is now, was actually fun in the movie as well, as sort of like, he's so oblivious to the world outside of him that he like makes friends with Jason Segel a little bit. And they go surfing together, and you know, obviously he's a jerk and he's a total rock star.
I mean, it is funny when
stuff was pretty funny
when they're surfing. You know, Jason Segel has that moment where he's like, man, it sucks to say this because I obviously hate you, but you're so cool, or something like that. Like, yeah.
Did you enjoy Jonah Hill's? I don't know how much I like Jonah Hill's stuff. I didn't find him like that funny as the guy who like is in kind of like gay love with Aldous Snow, but also wants to get his music out. I don't know. It really felt like improv in the worst possible way. Like, I enjoy a lot of improv.
Well, it's funny, you know, I feel like we got so conditioned to the Judd Apatow style during this time period for like 10 or 12 years that there's like a little bit of a distance from it now. So going back and watching this, I feel like it's so obvious during certain scenes where you can tell that they just did like 30 different takes and picked the stuff they thought was funniest.
Yeah.
Like whenever he's talking to Bill Hader on the computer or whatever, and it's so easy to just, because they're not in the scene together, to show a two-shot, to just cut back and forth. And half the time the dialogue, like, it may be funny, but it doesn't feel like it all belongs back to back, or it almost feels like 3 attempts at the same thing back to back just because they were all funny. I feel like some of Jonah Hill's stuff like that, like I guarantee any time where like they're at dinner at the restaurant he works at and he just like walks by and says a line to them, I guarantee each of those they did 20 times and they just like picked their favorite one. He doesn't, I mean, you know, he doesn't have a ton to work with that character, but he doesn't really feel like a character. He just feels like they were like, okay, just act annoyed. But then it's like, even when he's like, you know, if he loves Aldous Snow so much, when he's actually there speaking to him, like when he gives him his CD or whatever, he never feels like he's actually that big of a fan. It feels like he's saying it because that's what the script is supposed to have him doing. He still just kind of sounds pissed off all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's like Paul Rudd's character. They wrote him to just be like a fun-loving idiot who doesn't remember anything. So like he doesn't have to try all that hard either. Like there's not a lot to him. But that's why I say a lot of those side characters I think are kind of fun. It's kind of low stakes for what's going on with them. It's just like, here's your joke that you're going to do 4 times throughout the runtime.
Yeah. I think one of my biggest critiques of the movie, and this applies to most of like the Judd Apatow movies, is it's just too long. Like you could easily cut like 15 minutes from this movie. I feel like most comedies, especially the Judd Apatow comedies, they're just too long.
I wonder if you'd feel that way if you didn't watch the extended cut.
Well, the extended cut was maybe like two scenes, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a huge extended cut. The movie runs an hour 51. That's too long for a comedy. For most comedies should be like 90 minutes.
But when you look at it compared to other Judd Apatow comedies, it ain't too shabby.
That's true. Like Funny People feels like it's like 4 hours long. It feels like 2 movies. Like I swear, like Funny People would be great if it ended halfway
before you meet Eric Bana.
Yeah, until he goes. Yeah, when it turns into him going to the house and all that extra stuff, it's like that movie is terrible, but the stuff before it is great. So yeah. It's not a huge thing. I enjoy the movie. There's just these movies can tend to run a little bit long, and it feels like some of that improv stuff is the stuff that you could cut. Like, honestly, like if you cut Jonah Hill out of the movie's probably a little bit tighter, a little bit funnier. Whereas, like, I don't think Mila Kunis had a lot of time to improv. Her character feels way more written. Same thing with.
Well, I mean, she's there for a purpose, unlike Jonah Hill. Like I said, those characters, it's just like you get to be funny for a couple scenes. She's got to be this like backbone for Jason Segel's pitiful character to like. She's like his parachute. He's like falling out of a plane and she's there just to like save him and bring him back. Like she's too perfect. She's too forgiving. Like the whole movie, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, she's gorgeous. She's the nicest person on the planet. And if all it takes is like meeting someone she kind of feels sorry for, she probably meets like hundreds of people every day working reception at a hotel in like a vacation destination. How the fuck is she still single? Like that is either like the most unbelievable writing, or there's like serious red flags and she's actually like a serial killer or something. And I think, there's 1 or 2 lines maybe at some point in like the latter half of the movie where 1 or 2 other locals, or maybe it's like Paul Rudd, insinuate like that they've tried to date her, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but they insinuated, like, it almost felt like the people writing the movie realized, this is going to be too unbelievable. Let's throw in one throwaway line to make it sound like she's really standoffish or something. But yeah, it's just she's like his manic pixie dream girl. She's just a little too fucking perfect.
She is pretty perfect. What about Kristen Bell?
She was fine. I mean, for the role that she's playing, again, she's another, like the 2 women in the movie, unfortunately, are there just to service the rest of the plot. Like neither of them get to grow or do anything specifically great, but she's fine in her role. I had no issue with her. Yeah.
What about the vampire puppet musical at the end?
I'll admit, considering I had never seen it before, when it finally happened, I guess I had it built up in my head a little bit because, again, I had heard that podcast interview and they talked about it, and I think that the host probably sucked Jason Segel's dick about it a little bit, and then I knew that he went on to get the Muppet movies because of the puppet Dracula musical. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I thought that song that he sings in the bar in the middle of the movie was pretty good. So I'll admit, when it got to the actual puppet musical at the end, I was a little disappointed by it. And the reason is probably going to sound stupid and weird, but it's like, it didn't feel like a real puppet show that somebody would have put on. It's like they
Because
only
there
got
are
to show
no-
one sequence of it, so it's a
Yeah.
movie, so it's like way more extravagant, and there's a billion things going on, and it felt kind of weirdly phony. Whereas when
Sure.
it was just like a pared down, like one little song with a funny voice in the bar, I dug that. And then when it actually happened, and there's like 32 puppets and the billions of things going on, and they're shooting fucking like glittery streamers from the ceiling, and there's bats coming down. I'm like, what the fuck small production is this?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a weird complaint.
Yeah,
but
it is a little bit of a weird complaint, but I get it.
I was admittedly disappointed by it because, again, I knew that it's something Jason Segel said that he was actually writing in his real life, and I think it might have been Judd Apatow who was like, put that in the movie, because I think he was
it's
like
in our notes.
actually
We'll
trying
get
to
to
write
that.
it.
Yeah, it's definitely a part of the history of making this movie. So,
And so like
I wonder
maybe that version that we see at the end is what Jason Segel would have wanted it to look like in his wildest dreams, and that's why they made it look like that. But
yeah.
I had it in my head of like, this is a real thing to be taken seriously that he had written, and then I thought it was kind of overblown and phony at the end.
I do wonder if you didn't know that it was coming, if it would have been different.
Maybe, but it is weird that like ever since I heard that podcast in the last like 2 years, I've been like kind of anticipating seeing the Dracula musical.
Yeah, I remember watching this movie and it gets to a puppet musical at the end. Like it ends in a way that most romantic comedies don't really end, right? Like they get together, but the last part of the movie is this puppet musical that she like inspired him to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was pretty funny, and I think it still holds up. So I think expectation can change how you see it.
Yeah,
like if you
maybe.
don't know that it's coming, then it kind of hits. If it's built up as like this thing, then it's probably a disappointment.
Yeah. All I can say is if only I had seen it back in 2008.
Yeah, that would have maybe changed your opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
This movie's funny. It's not super bad funny. It's not even like Knocked Up or Anchorman funny. It's, for me, and I think one of the draws for it is it's funny, but I felt like it was really relatable. Less so now than, again, when I saw it originally. But man, being kind of a bitch, I could relate to, where it's like you think, you know what I mean? You only see what's happening. I don't know. There was something super relatable for me when I was watching it 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I really liked and why it reminded me of 500 Days of Summer is there's these different like cutbacks to their relationship that I really enjoyed that in 500 Days in Summer. And I really enjoyed it here, where it's like, oh, you think of all of the good times. You broke up and you think of all of the times, all the fun times that we had. And then you kind of forget the stuff that wasn't working, and you don't see it now. And then you cut back and he's playing the song for her, and she's like, I don't get it. Or, making him hold her bag,
purse,
or dressing him. Or,
honestly, I had forgotten about that until you just brought that element to the movie up. I wish there was more of that.
Yeah.
It happens like 4 times in the movie, but it's so fleeting, it almost feels out of place because the rest of the movie feels like such a conventional romantic comedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stuff, I wish there was more of that.
Yeah. I really enjoy that stuff. Even this follows all the basic romantic comedy beats, even to the point where Kristen Bell and Aldous Snow break up and she wants to get back with Jason Segel. And then they have that scene where she gives him a blowjob, and then he has to like admit to Mila Kunis that they had that moment, and then she's like, get out of here. I do enjoy the scene where she's talking to the bar guy, and he's like, he stopped mid blowjob. He should get an award. I thought that stuff was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, it's like very convenient that she's like, okay, I guess we can get back together.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't have the chasing someone through the airport, but it does have the, they haven't seen each other in months, and she told him not to contact her, but then she's like kind of disappointed that he didn't contact her.
Yeah.
And then they see each other after all this time, and she's like maybe gonna upset her whole life for him. And
sure. The chasing through the airport scene is him going to the bar and getting her topless photo from the bathroom and getting beat up for it. That's the condensed version of that scene in this movie.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get to the box office. This one had a budget of $30 million, which was about, I think, average for these like comedies that we no longer get. Like nobody makes $30 million comedies anymore. So yeah, $30 million budget. Box office was $105 million, so tripled its budget there. It debuted in 2,800 theaters on April 11th. It grossed $17 million in second place behind the Jet Li and Jackie Chan led The Forbidden Kingdom.
Wow, that beat this?
No, yeah, that beat this movie.
Wow. I didn't think anybody saw that movie.
Right?
Forbidden Kingdom? Yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty good.
Okay. It stayed in over 2,000 theaters through mid-May, grossing $50 million. It left theaters in early July, finishing its domestic run at $52 million. It grossed another $42 million internationally. And we don't usually talk about this, but on DVD, it did really, really well. Like the Anchorman movies, the Superman movies, those movies killed it on DVD sales. So as far as reviews go, it's got 2,500 fans on Letterboxd. This is a little surprising. It's got a 3.3 rating on 311,000 ratings. I thought it might be a little bit higher, but I don't know. Maybe it's just not the Letterboxd sort of comedy.
I mean, a lot of movies have come out since then, and the way we're talking about it, it sounds like you're maybe not as big of a fan of it now as you would have been back in 2008. Like maybe that happens with some people.
Yeah. Like how well does it age? I don't know. Well, I'll share, I guess, when we wrap it up. 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, though. So for the most part, critics liked it. Going through these reviews, none of them loved it. Like they liked it. It always it felt like the caveat was like, yeah, this is like fun, but it's like the lower of the Apatow movies is kind of the gist of the reviews. Michael Phelps of the Chicago Tribune gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars, said, Jason Segel has what Nicolas Cage and Gene Wilder and a precious handful of other witty actors have. The ability to make egregious humiliation and painful neediness a source of limitless mirth.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was willing to show his dick. Okay, understood.
What did you think about how often we got to see is Johnson in this?
Again, I had heard about it, and I knew that he actually showed it. You know what I think it was? I heard like because he does that show Shrinking with Harrison Ford, and it was like Harrison Ford like wanted to know who this guy was before like agreeing to be on the show or whatever, and so they gave him Forgetting Sarah Marshall to watch, and I forget exactly how it goes, but in the anecdote, Harrison Ford like ends their conversation by being like, nice dick or something like that. So I knew it was going to be there. I was surprised they went back to it so many times. Yeah. It's not just like, oh, you see it once. There's like 3 or 4 individual shots of it, and it's each one lasts for probably a second, but I was by like the 3rd or 4th one I was like, okay, we get it. He's naked.
Richard Schickel of Time Magazine said, this is a fairly low-key comedy, but a grown-up dropping in on it can appreciate its lack of frenzy, its fundamental good nature as easily as its core audience will. It isn't exactly a gem, but as zircons go, it'll do.
Okay.
God, what's with these like words like mirth and zircons using? Like I don't know.
They have to sound like they're above the movies that they're reviewing. They have to sound like they deserve to be a reviewer because they use big words. That's my only guess.
Yeah. Stephanie Zacharek of Salon.com said, Forgetting Sarah Marshall follows the Apatow formula faithfully enough. All that's missing is charisma, the je ne sais quoi that makes us all fall in love with in the first place. Not a fan. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. Like, I think Jason Segel has a lot of charisma, and so does like Mila Kunis. Like, you're supposed to fall in love with her, and it's easy to fall in love with her in this movie, and the whole cast. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with what she's saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Jason Segel is like a likable and relatable enough guy. Like I said, I was a little annoyed with his character from time to time, but it's not because he was wooden or not playing it like somebody you could relate to. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
Lou Lemonick of the New York Post gave it 3 out of 4 stars, said, this film is so funny, it may be beside the point to complain that, as in many Apatow productions, the writing and direction are still in something of a state of arrested development.
Okay. So he thought it was really funny, but he thought that the writing and the directing was bad?
Yeah, I thought the directing's fine. Like it's not like flashy, but I think that's kind of what these comedies are supposed to be, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
It's so funny. It may be beside the point to complain that the writing is bad. I don't. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
3 out of 4 stars. John Anderson of Newsday gave it 2.5 out of 4 stars. Kunis is not just Peter's savior, but the saving grace of a comedy that is really a series of sketches, a few of which sparkle, and most of which you'll soon forget. I don't know if I agree with that review. I don't know if I give it 2.5 stars, but
yeah, I mean, I imagine if I had seen this back in like 2008, it probably would have proved to be pretty forgettable. So
yeah. All right, and then finally we've got Leonard Maltin, who gave it 3 stars and said, after his TV star girlfriend leaves him for another man, a self-pitying composer goes to Hawaii to mend his broken heart. Then his ex and her new boyfriend turn up at the same resort. Smart, funny comedy from Judd Apatow's comedy crew hits all the right notes, pushing the envelope for sexual content, but never losing sight of real emotions. Siegel wrote the screenplay and gives himself a great star vehicle, with plenty of room for other cast members to shine. Brand reprised his character and get him to the Greek. Yeah, mostly a summary more than anything, an actual review. He liked it.
It does seem like right off the bat, like, okay, you want to get away and go on a vacation somewhere. Let's go to the exact place that my ex-girlfriend, who I'm trying to get over, loves to go.
Yeah.
But then also I thought it was funny, she apparently loves Hawaii, and according to him in the movie, he had never been, even though they've been together for 5 years, and she allegedly loves it and was always trying to get him to go. Like, and then she's immediately there when, like, as soon as he goes, like, he was keeping her from going to Hawaii for 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
If she loves it, I don't know.
Do you think he knew she was there? Like, he went there on purpose?
It didn't play that way to me. I just think that's why it feels like such stupid writing to be like, oh, I want to get away so I can stop thinking about my girlfriend. I'll go to the place that she loves and apparently always wanted me to go with her. And not only the place, like the landmass, the exact resort that she's at and apparently was always talking about.
Yeah.
And he just goes on this trip and doesn't book a hotel room. There's a lot of weird little things like that.
I think he knew where she was. I know it's not played that way, but it's just too much of a coincidence for him to go to the exact resort that she's at. She says, "Did you ask my assistant?" He says, "No," but I don't know, man. I think he knew. I think he knew she was there.
Yeah.
I really like Bill Hader in this movie. He plays this pretty straight, but I thought it was really funny. Like when Jason Segel is burning the photos and they have to like come to his house because they're worried about him. Yeah. And he has like that little argument with him. He's like, Jason Segel insults his wife and he's like, "Do you want to go there?" And Jason Segel gives him like a side eye and he's like, "Yeah." And then he goes off on him. He's like, "Are you talking about the mother of my unborn?" I love Bill Hader. I think he's really funny. Or when like he first gets to the hotel and he like follows them to their room and he's talking to Bill Hader and Bill Hader's like telling him to leave and to like go away. And then he's like puts the phone down and you could just hear Bill Hader yelling insults at him the entire time.
Yeah.
I love that.
Was pretty good.
I really like Bill Hader. I think that dude is hilarious.
You know what's something that I thought was a little weird, which again, like completely not important at all to the movie, but the film basically opens with him doing, in my opinion, the most relatable thing, which is pouring a way too large bowl of cereal.
Yep.
Right. And so he's got that clear container that she gave him to keep his cereal fresh. And we see him pour 3/4 of it into the bowl. And then she breaks up with him that day. And it's supposed to be like 5 weeks later or something like that, when Bill Hader finally comes over and convinces to go on a trip. And they have a scene in the kitchen and they specifically talk about the cereal container. And I'm like, dude likes cereal enough that he's going to pour himself that giant bowl. But there is exactly the same amount of cereal left in that container as there was after he poured that bowl, which means he hasn't had cereal in the last 5 weeks. His comfort food? I don't buy it.
Oh, man.
I'm sitting there thinking they're having a scene right next to the cereal container and nobody thought to like change the amount of cereal that's in it. And then they actually include it in the scene. And I was like, you guys fucked up.
Yeah. I did like his Batman shirt that had like the Batman symbol with the skeleton in it. I thought that was kind of cool. All right, 4 awards. Nominated for 5 awards at the 2018 Choice Awards. Romantic comedy. Yeah. Actress in a comedy, Kristen Bell. Breakout female, Kristen Bell. Breakout female, Mila Kunis. Breakout male, Jason Segel. It didn't win any of those awards, but Don't even know if the Teen Choice Awards are still happening, but in 2008 they were.
Breaking out from what, I wonder? Like, because Mila Kunis, I feel like, was already pretty famous and well known.
Yeah, but not in movies. I guess as a movie star. I think these were movie awards. So yeah, same with Jason Segel. I think How I Met Your Mother was going on around this time. I have no idea.
Oh, really?
Maybe
Didn't
not.
that just go off the air like not long before his new show started? Like, I don't know how long it was on the air, but I assumed it was after this.
I honestly don't know much about How I Met Your Mother. That
doesn't sound like you, Jesse. I expected you to be an encyclopedia of knowledge about How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother, I'll tell you, ran from 2005 to 2014.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah,
so I was off on my timeline.
Yeah. So no, it was, he was making some money from that. As far as like notes and stuff, it was released under the Apatow production during a stretch where films like 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, and Superbad were redefining comedies in the 2000s. It's kind of like towards the middle or end of that stretch. Jason Segel's breakout in his first major starring role, also wrote the script, and it cemented him as more than a sitcom actor, which I don't know if that's true, because he starred in a couple of movies, but mostly been doing TV.
Yeah.
Released in the same year as Step Brothers, Pineapple Express, and Tropic Thunder, all coming out in 2008, making it part of one of the strongest comedy years in modern memory.
And I rewatched all of those just recently, like I kind of mentioned.
Which one of those do you think you like the best? Step Brothers, Pineapple Express, or Tropic Thunder?
You know, I didn't love it when I first saw it, but I really enjoyed Step Brothers on a rewatch. And I feel like part of that could be that back when I first saw it, I didn't know who the hell Adam Scott was, and now I find it so funny that he plays that kind of character in that movie. I mean, it is funny in general anyway. Pineapple Express, I remember really liking when I first saw it, and it didn't do a ton for me this time around. Like, it has its funny moments. And Tropic Thunder, I feel like I never loved as much as a lot of people. Like, it feels like that's a modern classic for a lot of people. And I thought it was pretty good in the theater, and I thought it was pretty good on a rewatch, but not in love with it.
Never a big fan of Tropic Thunder. I want to like it more than I actually like it. Pineapple Express, I feel like was the most forgettable of the Rogen what's his name movies. Why can't I think of his name?
Harry Osborn.
Yeah.
James Franco.
Yes. Like, I enjoy This Is the End more than I like Pineapple Express. Step Brothers is really funny, but I haven't watched it in a long time either. So
yeah.
Get Him with the Greek is the spinoff / follow-up to Forgetting Sarah Marshall. That film was released in 2010, directed by Stoller and produced by Judd Apatow. And that one stars Russell Brand playing the same character, the Aldous Snow character in Jonah Hill. Hill played an entirely different character than the one he played in this. Sarah Marshall is also in it briefly as a cameo, promoting the NBC drama Blind Medicine, where she portrays a visually impaired surgeon. Did you enjoy all the scene of the crime stuff? Like,
all those little bits were good with the stupid William Baldwin jokes. Yeah,
they're so bad. I mean, intentionally bad, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, just the name "Crime Scene of the Crime" is so funny, and because it's all those shows are so dumb. Like, I have zero interest in Law and Order SVU and Law and Order whatever. You know what I mean? Like
all the CSIs.
Yeah, all of them. But
all
they're
the shows
so
my
popular.
parents watch.
Yeah, they're hugely popular. Jason Segel and Lyle Workman wrote music for the film, which includes the music by Infant Sorrow, which was the Aldous Snow Band, and the songs for the Dracula musical. And then Jason Segel created the Dracula puppet musical during a slow stretch in his career. After recording Dracula's Lament, he played it for Judd Apatow. The interview he did for GQ recently, where he talks about this, is actually pretty funny. He's like, he took it to Judd Apatow. As soon as he finished it, he took it to Judd Apatow, which was like at 11 p.m. at night. He called him. He's like, I got to show you this. And Judd Apatow responded, you can't play that for anybody. He was just so not into it. Later, when laying out Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Segel wanted a rom-com that didn't end predictably. And he pitched Apatow, what if we make it that guy's really into puppeteering and we end with a super lavish puppet musical? Apatow provingly replied, well, it's your movie, and kind of like let him do his thing, even though he didn't love the Dracula stuff. He like encouraged. I mean, that's kind of what Apatow did, is he kind of raised up all these dudes, Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill and Jason Segel and kind of gave them platforms. Seth Rogen, obviously the biggest of them all. Did you watch? This is stupid for me to ask you this, but you didn't watch the studio?
The studio? No, I haven't seen it.
It is really good and won a bunch of Emmys too. So I think that's it. Do you have any other thoughts about these notes or the movie at all?
No, I complained about the cereal box, so I think I'm good.
The big sticking point of the movie. Yeah, I mean, it's like funny. It's not like overly funny. I mean, I don't feel like even watching it now, there's a couple of parts that made me laugh. Mostly the side character stuff, like you mentioned earlier. But it's, I don't know, relatable and fun, and it aged for the most part okay, I think. So the question, Ryan, since this is the first time that you've seen the movie, it came out in 2008. Did you miss it?
I'm gonna say no. Like, it was fine. I didn't dislike watching it, but if it's just like a thumbs up or a thumbs down, I wouldn't exactly say that it's like a thumbs down, but like nothing about it elevated it to like I'm glad I finally caught up with it.
Yeah.
Like it was perfectly fine, perfectly watchable. Like I said, I laughed at it a couple times, but even saying like it reminded me a lot of The Heartbreak Kid. I really enjoy The Heartbreak Kid, and there's like numerous things that I can think back to that I really enjoy about that movie, like Jerry Stiller's character and whatnot, and some of the crass humor in that. But like seeing Jason Segel's dick and Paul Rudd forgetting who everybody is constantly, like it was fine. But I didn't miss it.
Yeah. The Heartbreak Kid is so much more extreme. This is kind of like middle of the road rom-com, and The Heartbreak Kid has like high highs and low lows. I
feel like The Heartbreak Kid, that kind of movie, is definitely more my taste, where it does take like huge swings. Like, I know most people would probably hate it or think it's just weird and gross or whatever, but the scene where Ben Stiller's wife, what's her name? Malin Ackerman. Yeah, she like he gets stung by a jellyfish and she runs over to pee on it, and when she like pulls down her bathing suit, she's got like an enormous bush, and there's like a special effect where they show it and then it's like it opens up, like it unfurls, and it's got some like body jewelry in it. Yeah. And it's just like completely fucking weird and over the top. But
that's what I mean. It's like so extreme. Like Malin Ackerman in the movie is so extreme.
Yeah.
Whereas like no one's really that extreme in this movie. Everyone is kind of playing it real isn't right because they are heightened characters, but it's like everyone in The Heartbreak Kid is turned up to 11, where everyone in this one is turned up to like 2,
Yeah.
Which is the Apatow sort of thing, unless it's Anchorman or, Step Brothers, or basically Will Ferrell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with stuff like Knocked Up and like this, I think that they were generally trying to make sort of relatable stuff with like quote unquote real characters.
Yes.
You said, unless it's Will Ferrell.
Unless it's Will Ferrell, yeah, because he's the exception to all of the rules in all of his movies.
Yeah, even as like extreme as something like Superbad may seem, with like all of the foul language and everything, like still, I remember seeing that for the first time and thinking like that is how kids talk when they're not around their parents. So
no, yeah, that was way more realistic, and I think the realism is what makes that movie work so well. Like of the era, I think Superbad is my. Superman Returns is what I'm talking about. I'm just kidding. Superbad is like the top of the list for me. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Which I think was before that. That was 2005. So it's strange that I thought Jonah Hill had broken out by then, but he was still doing, I guess, bit parts for his buddies.
Yeah, I mean, that was Superbad's the first place I ever remember seeing or hearing of Jonah Hill. So
yeah. I want to say that was 2005. So, what's also funny is I think when these guys write movies, this reminds me of Adam Sandler in the sense of like, how do I go on vacation and get paid for it?
Oh yeah.
Like they could have filmed this anywhere. It didn't have to be in Hawaii, but
when you said the
not?
budget was $30 million, and I'm thinking it's just like a bunch of people standing around talking, and except for the puppet part, like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, they probably could have cut it down to 20 if they didn't, go to Hawaii.
Yeah. That's the smart way to do it, man. Write a movie for yourself where the studio pays for you and your buddies to go on vacation, and you make a couple bucks off of it too. So
yeah,
smart.
Just write a movie where you get to go to Hawaii, wear like comfortable baggy clothing, and make out with Mila Kunis. Win.
Right. Yeah. All right, Ryan, you know your next job.
Write a movie where you and I get to make out with Mila Kunis. I don't know if your wife wants to hear that.
Hey, it's for a movie. She's going to have to be okay with it. All right. I think that's going to do it. All right. Come back next week for our next episode where we are going to review 2008, the movie Ponyo.
Which we definitely have neither of us have seen before.
I can confirm that neither of us have seen it. I did not see this movie until we watched it for the show. So come back for that. Until then, I'm Jesse Munoz.
Ryan Miller.
Back next week for Ponyo.